Let's be honest, marriage is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make, and yet, when it comes to choosing the right person, most people feel completely lost. You pray, istikara, you talk to friends, you scroll through reels, but deep down you're still asking the same silent question: how will I know if this person is from Allah? My dear brothers and sisters, we live in a time where emotions, pressure, and confusion blur everything. People enter marriages based on looks, vibes, or just because their family said yes, and then they spend years wondering if they made a mistake. But the truth is, Allah doesn't leave his servant in darkness. He shows signs, he opens doors, and he gives you clarity if you're sincerely looking for it. In this video, we're going to explore 5 clear ways Allah shows you who is right for you. And know this isn't just emotional talk, these are signs grounded in Islamic wisdom, real life experiences, and the quiet ways Allah guides your heart, even when you don't realize it. Have you ever felt like someone came into your life for a reason, but you weren't sure if it was a test or a blessing? You might find your answer in what's coming next. All right, let's begin with the first sign, and it's one that usually shows up when you're not even looking. No. 1. Allah makes the path easy without you forcing it. You know what's crazy? Sometimes we're so obsessed with making something work, we don't even realize we're the only one pushing, calling, convincing, begging, chasing approvals, pleasing one side while breaking ourselves on the other. And then we call it true love. But my dear brothers and sisters, when Allah writes someone for you, you won't have to exhaust yourself to keep them. One of the first signs that Allah is guiding you towards someone is this: the path opens without you constantly trying to force it. Yes, there might be challenges, but the pieces start falling into place in a way you can't explain. It feels guided. Jabir ibn Abdullah, the messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, a servant does not have faith until he believes in divine providence, both its good and its harm, and until he knows that what afflicted him could never have missed him, and what missed him could have never afflicted him. Because when it's from Allah, things may take time, but they don't drain your soul. Your istikra gives you peace, conversations move forward, doors open, hearts soften. You're not constantly fighting just to keep things afloat. Let me ask you, have you ever had something feel so difficult, so heavy, that you had to fake your happiness just to keep it alive? Compare that to the things in your life that came naturally, where Allah made the way even when you didn't expect it. Sometimes the biggest clue that someone is not written for you is when you're the only one holding the whole thing together. So if you feel like you're constantly pushing just to keep the relationship alive, it might not be a love story, it might be a lesson. No. 2. Allah removes the wrong people before he shows you the right one. Let's be honest, some of the people you begged Allah to keep in your life were actually sent as a test, not a blessing. And here's the part no one likes to hear: before Allah shows you the person who's truly written for you, he might first take you through heartbreak, not to break you, but to clean your heart from what doesn't belong. You might have thought they were the one, the feelings were strong, the bond felt real, but no matter how hard you tried, something kept going wrong. Arguments, distance, sudden changes, then silence, and you were left wondering, why would Allah take them away if I made so much dua? But that's the thing, you were making dua for the right one, and Allah was just clearing the wrong one out of your path. The Prophet Yusuf was thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and locked in a prison, all before Allah gave him what was meant for him, not because he was forgotten, but because sometimes pain is the path to protection. So if someone suddenly left, if a relationship ended despite your effort, if your heart was shattered in a way you didn't expect, maybe that wasn't rejection, maybe it was redirection. Because when it's written by Allah, it doesn't leave you confused, it doesn't leave you begging for respect, and it definitely doesn't make you compromise your worth just to stay. So if you're hurting over someone who walked away, don't assume Allah ignored your due as sometimes removing the wrong people is the first sign that the right one is coming. No. Point 3, Allah doesn't guide you to marriage through harem. Let's just say it straight. If your story started with haram, don't expect it to end with a blessing. Today's generation has made it so easy to fall into traps. A message turns into a conversation, a joke becomes a habit. Before you know it, there's a bond between two people who aren't even halal for each other, and then they start calling it love. But here's the thing, real love doesn't begin with disobedience to the one who created love in the first place. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah will never guide you to your spouse through a harem path. Never. He doesn't use sin to build sacred things. He doesn't send you someone who pulls you into disobedience and call it a test. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is nothing like marriage for two who love each other, not flirting, not sneaking around, not hidden relationships that only thrive in the dark. And if you are thinking, but we're planning to make it halal, soon ask yourself this: if your love story requires hiding from your parents, avoiding Islamic boundaries, and going against what Allah has commanded, then who is really guiding it? We're living in a time where even young teens are falling into harem relationships, thinking they're doing nothing wrong, but what starts with sin ends in pain. It might feel exciting now, but trust me, haram never comes without consequences. And the worst part, it affects your clarity. When you're in a harem bond, you can't even see the red flags clearly anymore because emotions blind you. And when you finally want to do it right, the heart is already attached to something Allah never blessed. So if you truly want to recognize who Allah wrote for you, purify your path first. Let go of what you know is wrong and what you're hiding, and then watch how Allah brings someone in a way that doesn't involve guilt or shame, only light and peace. Sign no. 4. You start changing yourself before the right person even appears. Sometimes the clearest sign from Allah isn't in them, it's in you. Before Allah brings the right person into your life, He starts working on your heart first, quietly, internally. No announcements, no signs in the sky, just a shift. You suddenly start taking your deen more seriously. You leave that harem relationship you knew wasn't right. You stop flirting with people online. You start praying on time, not to impress anyone, but because you want to be clean when you stand before your Lord. And maybe you don't even realize it at the time, but Allah is preparing you, because the one written for you, they're being prepared. 2. And when two hearts are being purified separately by Allah, He brings them together at the exact moment they're ready. But here's what most people miss. They keep asking, where is the right person, while ignoring the fact that they themselves might not be ready yet. And that's okay, because preparation is part of the mercy. So if you find yourself slowly improving, leaving sins, becoming more conscious of your character, finally letting go of people who were never meant to stay, then don't rush, don't panic, don't doubt. Allah's timing this change in you, this shift in your values, that's not random, that's a sign, because Allah doesn't just send the right person, He shapes you into the right version of yourself, so that when you meet, you're both standing in front of each other with clean intentions, honest hearts, and nothing to hide. And that's not just a marriage, that's a gift. Sign no. 5. You feel peace after istikhara, even if it's not what you expected. Let's be real. Istikhara is one of the most misunderstood gifts in ardent. People think it's going to come with a dream, a glowing sign, or some magical moment where everything just makes sense. But the truth is, most of the time Allah answers with peace. You do istikhara, you leave the decision in His hands, and then something settles inside you. You don't feel anxious, you're not overthinking, you're not chasing signs every day, you just feel calm. And maybe the person isn't exactly what you pictured, maybe they don't tick every single box, maybe your heart still has a few hesitations, but deep down there's no war inside you. That's a sign. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us that when something is right, Allah makes the heart content, not excited like a movie. Romance content, tranquil, confident in a quiet way. Sometimes the opposite happens. You do istikhara. Things fall apart, conversations dry up, your heart feels disturbed, unsettled, unsure, and it hurts because you wanted it to work. But what if that discomfort was your answer? What if Allah was removing what you wanted to protect you from what you couldn't see? The power of istikhara isn't in getting what you want, it's in trusting Allah even when He says no. So if you did istikhara and felt peace, even though it wasn't flashy, even though it wasn't emotional, even though it didn't match your plans, hold on to that, because peace after prayer is not random, it's your Lord quietly whispering, "This is better for you, my dear brothers and sisters." Choosing who to marry isn't just a decision, it's a journey that tests your patience, your faith, and your trust in Allah's plan. Sometimes the signs are clear, sometimes they show up in ways you didn't expect, and sometimes Allah gives you silence not because He's ignoring you, but because He's protecting you until the right time. But here's the truth: if you're sincere, Allah will guide you, maybe not through dreams or dramatic moments, but through the soft calmness in your heart, through the redirections you didn't understand at the time, through the people He removed, and the version of you He's been patiently shaping. Because marriage in Islam isn't about falling in love, it's about rising in faith together. So if you're still waiting, still confused, still healing from what didn't work, don't give up. Allah isn't late, He's just preparing something greater than what you're asking for. And if this message touched your heart in any way, then take a moment and comment this short dua below. Ya Allah, guide me to what's best for my deen, my heart, and my future. That simple line could inspire someone else who's silently struggling. And before you go, don't forget to like this video if it brought you peace, and subscribe if you want more reminders like this. It costs you nothing, but it helps us keep spreading these reminders to hearts that need them most. May Allah bless you with a spouse who protects your heart, strengthens your faith, and walks with you toward Jannah. Ameen. Until next time, stay sincere, stay patient, and trust the one who never fails His promises.